So far I've had a good harvest. I've gotten a few things out of the garden. Mostly cucumber and some squash and some zucchini. The front row here we have bush crop cucumbers. Great for pickling. I've got quite a few out of that, probably about 12 so far. But these two plants here got infected by the cucumber beetle and they are gonna die. There's no way to save it. You just basically got to pull them up and compost them. And hopefully these don't get it. I'll throw some diatomaceous earth on them, just a precautionary measure. But these still have some fruit on the vine, which may or may not develop. Who knows? We will see. If they do, I doubt they'll make it to the point where I can pick them. But this one seems to be in a little bit better health than this one. What's interesting is this started just a day or 3 ago, and this is the progression so far. My other yellowneck squash are doing well, except for that plant right there, which I believe has some wilt issues as well. The zucchini doing very well. It's that whole row all the way up to the trellis. And I think I have 4 yellow squash plants right here. Like I said, it's this one here. As you can see, he's got quite a few on the vine. I just pulled one off, but it's got a lot of wilt, so it's probably not going to make it. But the good thing is I've got more than a few backups for them. Next up we have Burpless cucumbers, which are doing great, but they're fairly small right now. And I would expected them to be a little bit bigger. They've budded, they've flowered, and we've got some cucumbers starting to grow on these. As you can see, there's 1 or 2 of them have on there. Zucchini. I got some Centennial hops that got planted quite late, so it's the first year I've ever done hops, so we'll see what happens. I've got about 9 plants. Started with the rhizomes, and they bloomed up. More cucumbers, and followed by some Spanish onions right back there, just a group of them. In here I've got Kentucky beans. The ones on the outside of the trellis are climbers. The other ones are bush underneath. Should be 2 plants under each of bush, and the other ones are vine. So quite a few peppers, red and yellow. And I've got another bunch of pickling cucumbers here. That one obviously is infected as well. I've got to pull that up. You got a great example of what's going on here too as well. Look, that guy's looking really good. It's awesome. I'd go into the variety of tomato plants that I have, but that would take probably way too long. But what I would say, I've got over 30 different tomato plants, ranging from a bunch of heirloom Italians to Sweet 100s. I've probably got about 10 Sweet 100 plants, which are small like cherry tomatoes. I've got 4 of the pear tomatoes, which are yellow tomato that are very small, like a cherry tomato, and the fruit turns into like a pear shape. There's some of the Sweet 100s right here. And then I have these Italian, I believe it's pronounced Giavese. Could be butchering it, I'm sure. Probably am. But let's see where they are. There we go. There we go. Look at those guys. They're going to be quite an interesting tomato. And then over here, I honestly cannot remember what this is. Maybe I'll put it in the description. But those are going to be really nice. I think it was another Italian variety. Oh, I'm sorry, they're black cherry. That's what they are. Should have known that. Okay, go to the next aisle. Again, huge amounts of tomato plants. First row though are all of my San Marzanos, followed up by a second row of Roma, which for some reason are super small. I may have caused that by not caging them up and letting them kind of just free hang, but they're all doing really well. I did get a little bit of fungus on some of these plants, so I've been picking at the bottom branches and peeling them off, trying to stay on top of it. It just happens with the low-hanging branches, and you got to get that off there, else it'll spread. But last year I didn't have a good result with the San Marzanos, but I'm going to try it again this year. Excuse me. They were just really stiff and didn't ripe up very well. Basil, scallions, onions are really good. Some jalapeno, sweet pepper, heat, which are going to be really nice. I'm not much for heat, so my buddy John, he's going to take the jalapenos and the other sweet heat ones. More basil, some arugula, which needs to be pruned very badly, and some of the leaves pulled off, so let's go in the back and see what we got. Those are my bees over there. But this is our second year up here, third year up here doing this in South Lyon, Michigan. They give us a nice area that's normally around 75 by 25 feet. This year they shortened it a little bit and moved the plots, so we're looking at like 50 by 25, but we've kind of taken over the empty lot next to us as well. Got a couple of varieties of pumpkins growing. And there was one over here, but also got some really bad wilt, so I pulled it out and composted it. It's our compost pile. Just throw anything in there. Not really play hard and fast with it. Anything from bones, corn husk, chicken, any live feed. As you can see, tortilla chips. But watched quite a few videos on composting, and there's some people who feel like it really doesn't matter as long as it's not bad. You can put it in there. More scallions, and this one I'm really excited for. This is going to be a, I think I remember what the name was. I was super excited about it. Italian sweet. So Italian sweet pepper. It's got a little blight on it, but I think it'll do okay. We've had a lot of humidity and a lot of rain, so the pepper should do well this year. Some reds. Then I had a couple spare kale plants that I planted. Not a big fan of kale, but hey, it'll grow and we'll eat it. And then, interesting enough, mystery plant. There's a few of these over in the garden, over in the empty plot over here. Back in the weeds I can find a few more. I don't know what they are. I did not plant them, but we should find out pretty soon what it is, because they're going to start to flower, and hopefully we'll see some fruit on there. Keep you updated on that. Brussels sprouts, have 2 of them, had 6. Rabbits took care of that, so build a cage, but I'll probably take it off. They haven't been back bothering them in the past month or so. Celery, front row here. I gotta do a lot of weeding in here, but endive. Probably will never plant endive again. I don't know what the hell happened to it, but didn't really result in anything much. Red romaine, which is great. Just take off the little leaves as you want. Some leaf lettuce, or they call it salad bowl. A really nice arugula plant that has to be pruned as well. That thing's been blooming like crazy, but I got to get some of those off there so we can promote some new growth. Bib lettuce back there, which has been towering up. Got to do the same thing with that. kind of neglected a little bit. Haven't been eating some salad lately, but some early girls, which are pretty nice. Yeah, that's that. There, this is what I'm talking about. This is stuff that has to be pulled off. If you have tomatoes and you've got this, you need to pull those off. So this one's not going to get pruned. And normally it occurs at the bottom, so it's not really ever going to be on a plant, or I'm sorry, a stem that is going to have bloomage on it. So, like I said, they normally hang way down here, and that's where you get it from touching the ground, and normally never affects up here. So, just real easy way to snap them off. You can use a pair of scissors or whatever, but if you take it and bend it forward, you should hear them snap. Bend it down. Clean break. Doesn't really hurt the plant. The only thing is don't do a ton at once, which is why some of that probably hasn't been cleaned up yet. I probably did some pruning to it earlier in the week and didn't want to do too much because you can definitely aggravate the plant. Here's another one right here. That one, there we go. See the leaves? Focus in on that. Yep, just a fungus. Compost it if you want, but don't do what I'm doing right now. Don't drop it like 5 feet from the plant. Get it as far away as possible. I think that's about it. Let me I think I have some beans on here. Let me turn this hose off really quick and we'll go take a look at the beans. All right. Should have quite a few beans on here on the bush somewhere. Yeah, look, see? Nice beans. So you can let these stand here for a little bit. You don't necessarily have to pick them right away. Those obviously are a little bit small. This one, or these, should be picked and come off, but as you can see, they'll just continue to grow. So they're not something you have to pull off immediately, or they'll go bad, but it's pretty nice. So then you can just wait till you get a bunch of them to yank them all off. Again, the Centennial hops, I hope. I've never grown hops before, so we will see the result of this. This one seems to be doing well. I've got to restring these up. A little bit of something going on there, but restring these up a little bit higher. I'll probably do a pole straight up and move the line. But yeah, that's about it. Everything looks good. Got a few issues. Oh, look at that zucchini. The little thing that the people that grow zucchini or squash, a couple schools of thought there. One, don't ever let them get too big, because then they just get seedy and they don't taste as good. So I normally leave them about, like 8 to 10 inches and never bigger around than a baseball, I would say. I would never let the end get bigger than a baseball. So pull them off early and enjoy them, because they are definitely a lot better that way. The thicker ones, though, you let them sit on there. You can zoodle them. A lot of people put them on the zoodler and make noodles out of them instead of using pasta. But yeah, this is our garden. You guys are gonna love the name. So it says 3 years we've been doing this. It's their sign from their first year. Bros with Hose. Thank you very much. I'll try and post another video again. Maybe tomorrow or the next day.